next and final talk in this session is by Orisha Joseph. Orisha Joseph is the Executive Director of Sustainable Grenadines, Inc. on Union Island, which is a Grenadine island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And she's originally from Grenada, though. Both countries try to claim her as theirs. I've seen it myself. So Orisha is going to tell us the fantastic story of the rebirth of Ashton Lagoon, Union Island, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a conservation success story. It's all yours, Orisha. So we are not hearing you yet.
Okay.
Now we are. Good.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Great. Great. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk about the rebirth of Ashton Lagoon. It's truly a conservation success story, have been in the making for more than 25 years. So I'm going to talk about the Ashton Lagoon Restoration Project and a little bit of overview about the project and Sustainable Grenadines. So we are a transboundary organization. We are based on Union Island of St. Vincent, but we work between two countries, which is Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And our focus is on strengthening civil society so that they can play a role in self-governance and the protection and the development of our natural resources. So the Ashton Lagoon, which is located on Union Island, it's the only and the largest mangrove ecosystem in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, about 605 acres, including marine and mangrove forest. It is also a marine conservation area under the Fisheries Act. Adjoining to or within the Ashton Lagoon area, we have an island called Frigate Island, which is also a National Heritage Site. And it was listed as an important birding area in 2008 by BirdLife International. It's also important and a great access route for our water taxi operators and our fishers who use the area. It's also a very important area for fisheries and bird and so forth. And it's also important for climate change adaptation in terms of carbon sequestration and sea level rise. However, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, not the present one, but a past one, had a brilliant idea to give a developer the permission to go into that area in 1994. And that development was to remove the mangrove area and put a golf course, create an access road from the mainland Union Island and join the Frigate Island, and also right on top of the coral reefs to put some cottages there, and to also insert a 300-berth marina, as you can see in the picture right here. And the process started in 1994, and after 1 year, the developers disappeared and the government could not find them to this day. So if we look at the photo at the top left-hand corner, we will see how Union Island was back in 1994. The top right-hand photo is when they started to construct those marina berths. And then on the top left-hand corner, we saw what happened after about a year. When they disappeared, we had a lot of eutrophication happening, and then a lot of what you call sheet piling that was installed there to create those marina piers started to erode. So while that was happening, that was in 1994, Sustainable Grenadines was a project in 2002 before we transitioned into an NGO in 2010. So when SusGren started as a project and also transitioned to an NGO, we started to look towards doing some sort of restoration work in that area. And we started off with Birds Caribbean, which was then the Society for the Conservation and Study of Caribbean Birds, in 2002 and 2007 to gain momentum in terms of what we should do there. So a lot of community meetings was held, back and forth, collecting data, doing engineering designs and works, and collecting data, doing environmental impact assessment. A host of work was done in that area from 2002, 2007, up until I think it's 2014, and to this date. So while we were doing work, we received funding from a number of donor agencies. One of the biggest funding was from NMBCA, and we had funding up until 2014 to do the restoration work, but the government for some reason did not want to give us permission because we were told that they may be thinking about having another developer come in to finish the work that should have never started in the beginning, but they were looking to see if other developer will come in to still go on with the project. That did not happen, thank God. So we received approval to do restoration work in 2015. However, we lost funding in 2014 because the government took too long. So therefore, SusGren had to go and find other funding, and the first set of funding that we found was in 2016, which is a long time from when we received permission to when we actually had the monies now to do the restoration work. And that project, we started implementation in 2018, and we only had 1 year to do all the restoration activities. In the picture, there is the Prime Minister of St Vincent and the Grenadines. That was me after giving a presentation to Cabinet on the restoration activities that we were planning to do in Ashton Lagoon, and obviously gaining the permission from the government and Cabinet's approval. We had a lot of challenges as it relates to obviously keeping people engaged from since 2002 up until to date. And also a lot of people felt slighted because back when the project, meaning the development project, was happening, they were told that they would get jobs, but that failed. And then SusGren came along to say that we will provide restoration work, and then that took so long. So the community really was fatigued, and they were getting upset with us and all of that. And then we really had to keep them engaged by having meetings and posting and having all these committee meetings and keeping them engaged. Even at the time, we did not have money until we got it in 2016. So it took a long time in persuading the government and keeping the community engaged. Fast forward, when we received funding in 2018, we were able to create 7 breaches or openings within the marina pier structure. We were also able to plant back 3,000 red mangroves because the road that the developers developed back in 1994 cut off circulation from water coming in from the ocean into the mangroves. So that area that you see that seems like it has a bald spot is the dieback of the mangroves because they were choked off so much. So we had to do some mangrove restoration there. But in order to do that, we have to ensure that we have a steady flow of water coming in there. So we were able to construct 3 swale systems that was allowing and is allowing the water to come from the ocean into the mangroves and then to drain out at the end using the tides. We were also able to construct 2 burden towers. We were able to do the Caribbean Burden Trail Interpretive Guide Workshop and establish a community researchers program. So we have local community being involved in monitoring the area. And this is just some of the work that we had to do. I know it looks a little like, oh my God, but because of what was done before, there was some very hardcore engineering work we had to do in order to really restore that area. So we can see here in the before and after, the top left-hand corner, that picture shows how the area was. You can see how the water has high turbidity And then the picture at the bottom with the two persons kayaking, that was a result after just 1 month when we opened that particular gap. And that is so for the other photos on the right. Just within a month or two, we were seeing results like this, which we were very happy about. And that bridge that you saw in some of the presentations before, the two areas where we had to create those openings, we also had to create an access area for pedestrians to pass and also for boats and water taxis to pass. So we had to build this over the water bridge. And you could see Lisa there in the middle at the bottom. And in front of her is the Prime Minister's son, who is the Minister for Finance for St Vincent. And at the back of her is the Minister for Agriculture, who really helped SusGren in working with the government to gain approval for this work. He was really working with us, which we really, really appreciated. And then this is the swale system that I mentioned earlier. And you could see the video on the left. We have actually started to see so many fish and small lobster and crabs and so on coming in there, and even the bird population have increased. This is the mangrove restoration efforts that we were able to do with young people on the island and also the community members in that particular area called Ashton, where the Ashton Lagoon is located on Union. And this is the two towers that we have constructed. And in a next presentation, or you will see for those of you follow SusGren, we have converted the first level of one of them into a honey production facility. So now you have birds and bees. And doing that, we were able to provide an opportunity for teachers to actually come and have a classroom outdoor with the kids and have the kids understand, you know, the environment and learn about the environment. So we were very happy about that. And there were also economic activities that is happening. We have seen kayaking, kite surfing, as I said, honey production. The bees will feed on the flower of the black mangroves. So then when you taste that honey, it has just a bit saltiness to the taste. So, you know, you can sell that as something peculiar. And we also have a sea moss farming. And then this is one of my favorite photos. Why this is my favorite photo is because no one ever visited Ashton Lagoon because it was not a place where people thought of, because there's no restoration work going on, no activity. Most people who lived on the island between 0 to 19 years never even visited the area. And as soon as we you know, developed the trail and put in the bird watching towers and the bridge, we were having local people visit like crazy, which was so happy to see that local people enjoying their own natural environment and also visitors. So we had something like, within like a month or two, we had like 300 local people visiting the area and something like over 1,000 tourists at the time visiting the area back in 2019. Last year. And it's also a great opportunity for teachers to bring their students to learn again. At the bottom, we have one of our staff there, Audwin Andrews. That's a team of students from Myra, which is another island, and they heard about the project and they wanted to learn about it. So we have all these teachers that is bringing the kids to learn, show them how to do bird watching, and they have been using that bird sleuth curriculum. Sometimes they will call and ask to borrow the book and they will use it. One of our star teachers, I can't wait for her to be at a conference one day when the borders are open up, is Kenya Fo. That's the young lady at the bottom in pink. She's a teacher and she has taken on bird monitoring and bird watching with her kids because she was one of the people who were part of the bird sleuth training that SusGren did a couple of years ago. So that was such a good success story. We were also able to build our office and our visitors interpretive center. So we have a presence in the area to be able to manage when that they come. And we were able to see an increase in bird diversity too. This is the first time we were able to record a American Caribbean flamingo. And we have a lot of willets, which we believe is here year round and on nesting. We just need to have that photo evidence because they're here all the time. And we were really happy to see that thriving bird population at Ashton Lagoon, which is so great. So at this juncture, I would like to thank all the persons and sponsors and funders who really helped SusGren on this project. It took a lot. It was a labor of love. It took a lot of years, almost 25 years, and 10 years working with SusGren and Birds Caribbean and other partners. So I really want to say thanks to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Orisha. That was so inspiring. You know how I feel about this project. Put your microphone back on. So yes, we're just running a couple minutes late, but we are moving now into the panel discussion section where we have an opportunity for people to ask questions of any of the speakers from yesterday and today. So if you have any questions for Orisha, she's here on the screen right now, so put them in the Q&A window. I can't wait to get back to Union Island to see the latest work. It's really exciting what's happening there. Yeah, they just keep going. And under Orisha's leadership and perseverance, like she said, it's been 25 years. So I don't know how you managed to keep going all those years, but you stuck with it. And now the results are coming in, and it's really, really exciting and inspiring. Certainly an exemplar model, I think, for the rest of the Caribbean.
Yeah. And I failed to mention that while that was happening, we know what happened in Grenada at last just where, you know, they had that big destruction with the salt to put on that hotel development. And it's so sad. So SusGren is really thinking about probably meeting with the government or some key stakeholders there to kind of show them what we have done in Union Island to see how we could, you know, it's far gone now, but to still see if we could have some dialogue.
Yeah, I hope you can advise them and work with them. But it is so sad. I mean, every day I talk to our partners in the islands. In Las Sages wetland in Grenada, Orisha's talking about this. A development is going in there for a marina, and they cleared out all the mangroves. Two other partners that we've been talking to recently about wetland sites, both are slated for development. So, you know, it's a constant battle. You can't let your guard down. You just got to keep working. And as Andrea said, you know, it's about building those relationships, persevering, making those connections, and working with the government and the community and the kids. The kids have a huge influence too on their parents.